Continuing our lesson on measures of center, so far we've discussed the mean, the median, and the mode. For the mean and the median, we were using quantitative data, numbers, in order to calculate these measures of center. For the mode, we also used an example with quantitative data, but if we had categorical or nominal level data, we cannot use the mean or the median. Those formulas are requiring quantitative data. But for the mode, when we're being asked what occurs most often, which value is the most frequent, we can use the mode as a measure of center for categorical data. So for categorical data, the best measure of center is the mode. We have two more measures of center to discuss. First is the mid-range. The mid-range is the average of the highest and the lowest values in a set. So we just take the highest and the lowest values, add them together, and divide by 2. Sometimes we'll see the symbols MR for mid-range. Sometimes the word will be written out. This one's another one that does not have a standard symbol represented because it's not used as often as the mean or the median. So for the mid-range, we could look at that set of data that we had before. I'll write it here on the side. The 0, 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. To find the mid-range, we would take the 0 and the 8, minimum and the maximum, add them and divide by 2, and we would get 4 for the mid-range. It's just another measure of center. Our last example for a measure of center is the weighted mean. Now, we've sort of used the weighted mean before. When we calculated the mean for grouped data, we multiplied the frequency times the midpoint. So the frequency could be considered a weight on that midpoint, meaning of 99.5, we're going to have 11 of them. Of 149.5, we'll have 24 of them. By multiplying the frequency times the midpoint, we're applying a weight to each of these midpoints. That's really the idea behind a weighted mean. We're going to multiply each variable by its corresponding weight and then divide the sum of the products by the sum of the weights. As an example, here's a student's grades in some classes, and we're going to calculate that student's grade point average, or GPA. This is exactly how your GPA is calculated on your transcript. We have 4 courses listed here, along with their corresponding credits or units. The credits are going to serve as the weights. The higher the unit class, the more that grade is going to count in your grade point average. So here we see the grade in the far column. That's the variable that the weighted mean is referring to. The grade is the variable. When calculating grade point average, each letter grade corresponds to a number. We can see those numbers given here in the table. A is worth 4 points, a B is worth 3 points, a C is worth 2 points, and a D is worth 1 point, ultimately leaving an F to be worth 0 points. So what we're going to do to calculate the GPA is we will multiply the credit times the points for the grade. I'm going to make one more column over here on the right, weight times X. So we'll take the credit times the points. So 3 credits, A is 4 points, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 credits, a C is 2 points, 3 times 2 is 6. The credit for chemistry is 5. They got a B, which is 3 points. 5 times 3 is 15. And the last one, Introduction to Health, the credit is 3. The grade is a D at 1 point, and we have 3. Then we need two totals. We add the credits. 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. And then we also add the sum of the products of the weight and the grade. I see 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 6 is 36. Feel free to use those calculators too. We can also set this up really easily using Google or Excel in our spreadsheet in the very same way that we did that group frequency distribution. Now, to calculate our GPA, we'll take the sum of the weights times x divided by the sum of the weights. And I know I'm using the formal notation for the formulas. I just want to help you connect the formula to what we're doing, okay? So if I rewrite this, total credits, this is going to be sum of W, and then this W times X, this is the sum of W times X over here. It's corresponding to what we have in the formula, so I can plug those numbers in, replace the formula with my numbers. 36 divided by 14. We can pull up our calculator. 36 divide... Ooh, I've got something else in there. 36 divided by 14 gives us 2.571428571, and it repeats, but no big deal. We just need the first two digits for that decimal, 2.57. Most colleges round to 2 decimal places on the GPA. Some colleges will round to 3 or 4. It just depends on the convention at the college. For us, 2 decimal places is fine. That's what our school uses, so that's what we'll keep. So this student, for this semester, has a 2.57 GPA. Very nice. Again, I do want to point out that the weighted mean that we just calculated is nearly identical to the mean for the group data. We're just phrasing it in a different way. In the last part of this section, I do want to compare and contrast these different measures of center so that we can get a better understanding of why do we have so many of them, what are they good for, when would we use them. So we'll flesh all that out in the next part of our lesson.